أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome to day 30. So this is actually going to be our last Ramadan class. Bismillah. We are going to be continuing Surah Maidah, inshallah. I know I said otherwise yesterday that we would try to have class tomorrow as well, but I think it would be in the best interest of everyone, along for myself, that we inshallah continue next Friday. So today's Jumu'ah, and then inshallah we'll continue next Friday, inshallah. So we have yesterday we talked up to ayah number 42. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was essentially recapping some of the situations of the munafiqun, and then also telling us some guidelines. So there were some pretty intense verses about how we need to protect ourselves from the hellfire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that we are indeed the ones who are should be fighting in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever we're doing, we shouldn't ransom this life for the hereafter. We should always make sure that we have the hereafter in our sight. And then towards the end of it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing how now there's bands of Muslims that are coming, just waves and waves of Muslims that are now coming into the Muslim ummah. And with that quantity, there is a bit of a lack of quality, you can say, right? Because previously the Sahabas, they were very well taken care of by the Prophet ﷺ, in the sense that they had direct oversight. Now, with hundreds and hundreds and thousands of Muslims taking Shahada on a regular basis, it took away from some of that. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going through some of the crimes that the the Jews had done. And so the last ayah that we covered, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was discussing about how some of these people who are doing these crimes, to the Prophet, he was saying, this shouldn't hurt you. Right? They're gonna do these. These are people or individuals who are gonna continue to do this. يُحَرِّفُونَ الْكَلِمَ, like they're changing their speeches. Right? They're changing the speech that they're supposed to be making in the Quran. And يَقُولُونَ إِنْ أَتَيْتُمْ هَذَا فَخُذُوهُ وَإِنْ لَمْ تُؤْتُوهَا فَاحْذَرُوا. And then if they only take portions of the book that they associate with. Right? If they're like, oh yeah, this is easy for us to follow, then they'll take it. Otherwise, they leave it. And then in ayah number 42, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, سَمَّاعُونَ لِلْكَذِبِ أَكَّالُونَ لِلسُّحْتِ. And again, it's continuing on to that description of the people of the book. And he says they listen to lies. Constantly, that all they're doing is they're listening to lies throughout. And eventually those same lies, they start to impact them. Right? They start to change their mindset, even though they may have had a very firm idea that, oh yeah, I want to become a Muslim. But then their gatherings, their rabbis, all they started to push them with the information was لِلْكَذِبِ أَكَّالُونَ لِلسُّحْتِ, and they eat which is unlawful. And this can have both meanings, that because of what they earned was unlawful, and then they bought the food with it, even though it may be halal food, but it's haram because they used unlawful money to purchase it. Or it could also be the food itself, didn't fit the guidelines of being halal and tayyib. فَإِنْ جَاءُوكَ فَحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُم أَوْ أَعْرِضْ عَنْهُم. So if they come to you, right? So ja'uka, they come to you, fahkum bainahum, and they're seeking for some sort of a reconciliation. There may have been a dispute, and they want you to judge between them. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can go ahead if that's what they want you to do. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expose them in the next ayah. Or if you decide that no, you don't want to judge between them, you just want to turn away from them, that's okay as well. Either way is fine for you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the Prophet about this. وَإِن تُعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ فَلَن تَضُرُّوكَ شَيْئًا. And if you turn away from them, then know that they will never be able to harm you. Right? So don't think that, oh, if I turn away, then they're going to do this, this, and this, and they're going to plot against me. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that even if you decide that I am not going to, judge between whatever case that they may have brought forth, because it may be a trap, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying they won't be able to harm you. وَإِنْ حَكَمْتَ فَحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْقِسْطِ. But if you are going to judge, right? If you take on the case and you're like, okay, side A, side B, present your case to me, then فَحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْقِسْطِ. Then make sure that you judge between them with justice. You give them the fair rights of the trial, basically. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who establish justice, who are just. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that even in the situation where you're judging between two individuals who may not be Muslims, right? You still have to uphold the honor of justice. وَكَيْفَ يُحَكِّمُونَكَ وَعِنْدَهُمُ التَّوْرَاةُ فِيهَا حُكْمُ اللَّهِ. And how is it they're asking you to judge between them? Right? And how do they even ask you to judge between them? وَعِنْدَهُمُ التَّوْرَاةُ, while they have the Tawrat with them. فِيهَا حُكْمُ اللَّهِ, and in it is the hukum of Allah. So, meaning they knew what they had to take in for themselves. The guidelines were very strict in the Torah, and they were trying to find or sideswipe the Torah itself, because they knew if we go by the Torah, then we will have a harsh punishment. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling them out on here, right? They're saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you guys had the Torah, and yet you still want to come to the Prophet while you know he's trying to judge between the Quran. He's going to be using the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is literally calling them out. ثُمَّ يَتَوَلَّوْنَ مِن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ. And then after you gave them the journey, still you gave them the verdict, right? You gave them the verdict, they still turn away from it, right? They just wanted to see what your thoughts on this process were. They just wanted to take your time and figure out, get to see, if that judgment was going to be favorable for them. وَمَا أُولَٰئِكَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Not at all. Like, they don't even have a shred of iman within them, right? وَمَا أُولَٰئِكَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. It's such a harsh way of telling them that no, they don't even have any iman in the first place. إِنَّ أَنزَلْنَا التَّوْرَاةَ فِيهَا هُدًى وَنُورٌ. And indeed, we are the ones who sent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we are the one who sent in the Torah guidance and light. And these are the same words used for the Quran. That the Quran is guidance, the Quran is light. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the same person, it's the same reflection of what is being sent down in the Torah. It was the same continuation of the scriptures. يحكم بها النبيون الذين أسلموا للذين هادوا. And it gave very clear ahkam, very clear verdicts in terms of when the prophets, to the prophets. يحكم بها النبيون, the prophets gave very clear verdicts. الذين أسلموا, to the ones who had believed. So the people who had believed in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or who had submitted to Judaism or Christianity, their respective faith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying it gave clear verdicts to the prophets amongst them. They gave clear verdicts to them. And then aslamu lilladina hadu, to the ones who submitted to being a Jew. Wa rabbaniyuna. Rabbaniyuna is the ones who are the scholars of the people, the rabbis, right? Rabbi comes from the word rabbaniyun. It literally means the godly people, the ones who are just dedicating their lives to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and those people who are just constantly worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they had very clear guidance and light from this book and from their messengers. Wal ahbar, and the people who are the scholars. And ahbar is an interesting word because it literally means the ones who are just drowned in ink, meaning they're writing so much, like the old pens that dip in ink and then write. Like, they're just drowned in ink. They're just dipping in their pen in ink and constantly writing because they have so much scholarly knowledge, right? So these people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, each individual category of people, أسلموا للذين هادوا, the ones who accepted Judaism. The ones who are Rabbaniyun, they're just constant worshippers. The ones who are Ahbad, the ones who are the scholars. The Torah was meant to be for all of them, right? It wasn't supposed to be some restricted book that only fed to the understanding of some high or elite level of Jews. Rather, it was meant for every one of them. And بما استحفظوا من كتاب الله وكانوا عليه شهيدا. And they were supposed to be in accordance with, to preserve, like istahfizu, to preserve what was in the book. They were entrusted with the idea that they're going to protect it with whatever they can. Right? When somebody memorized the Quran, we call them hafiz. Right? Istahfizu, from the same letters, hafiz, is the idea that they were asked that their task was to take this book and to protect it. And then what did they do? مِنْ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ وَكَانُوا عَلَيْهِ شُهَدَاء, and they were witnesses over it. Right? The same thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking for you and I to be of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us there was a nation before who was given the exact same rulings. فَلَا تَخْشَوْا النَّاسَ وَخْشَوْنِي وَلَا تَشْتَرُوا بِآيَاتِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا, and don't fear people. Right? You have the guidance, you have the hidayat and the nur from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so don't fear people. وَخْشَوْنِي, rather fear me, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَشْتَرُوا بِآيَاتِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا, and don't ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا, and don't sell these ayat of ours. Bi-ayati, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dedicating that these ayat that you have are specifically from me, and don't sell them short for a small price. وَمَنْ لَنْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. And so those who don't judge, those individuals who don't judge according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down, they are indeed rejecting God's teaching. They are those who are kafirun. They're taking the book and they're burying it. They're taking the knowledge within the book and they're burying it so far within themselves. And that's the literal example of what a kafir does, right? They bury the truth inside. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَتَبْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ فِيهَا أَنَّ النَّفْسَ بِالنَّفْسِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us, now in the Torah, we prescribe for them النَّفْسَ بِالنَّفْسِ, like a life for a life. وَالْعَيْنَ بِالْعَيْنِ, and a nose for a nose. Right? An eye for an eye. Literally, like an eye for an eye. An aini bil ain, like when we say an eye for an eye. Wal anfa bil anfi, and a nose for a nose. Wal udhuna bil udhunin, an ear for an ear. Was sinna bis sinni, and a tongue for a tongue. Like meaning the hudud were exactly like if somebody did X amount of wrong, then the X amount of would be punishable for them, for the exact amount. Wal juruha qisas, and an equal wound for an equal wound. Right? So it was essentially the same qisas for them as well. فَمَنْ تَصَدَّقَ بِهِ فَهُوَ كَفَّارَةٌ لَهُ. Then the one who gives in charity, the one who says, okay, I'm not going to take that retribution, I'm not going to go it, and if he forgoes this out of charity, then it will serve as a atonement for him. Right? Kafara lahu, that his sins will then be forgiven because of that. Right? So like somebody punched you and you have the right to punch them back, but you say no, it's okay, I'm gonna leave it be. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saying that because of that, He will forgive some of your sins for you. وَمَنْ لَنْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. And then those who do not judge according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down, has revealed, then they're doing a huge wrong. هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ, then they're indeed in the wrongdoing. وَقَفَّيْنَا عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ بِعِيسَى بْنَ مَرْيَمَ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. And we sent down. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directly attributing Himself. Right? Previously, it was أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ Torah. We are the ones who sent to you guys the Torah. We are the ones who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking the credit for sending this down. وَقَفَّيْنَا عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ بِعِيسَى. And then we sent down Isa alayhi salam, the son of Mary. مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ, confirming what came right before him. Meaning whatever the message of Musa alayhi salam was, Isa alayhi salam came to actually confirm that message as well. Just as Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he came to confirm the message of Isa alayhi salam. Now notice, when it was talked about the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it was like after a ba'da fatratin, right? So like there was a huge gap of time frame between Isa alayhi salam and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there was that. Here it says مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ, confirming that which was right there. They didn't have to go so far back and think what message is he confirming, whose message, whose book, what is the Torah, and what is the original form of the Torah. No, they knew all of this at that point. They knew that they had been changing the books to their whims and desires. وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْإِنْجِيلَ فِيهِ هُدًى وَنُورٌ. And indeed, we are the one who sent the Injil, the gospel. We are the one who sent the gospel, and in it is guidance and light. Again, the same passage that was talked about for Torah is being used for Injil as well. وَمُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. And it confirmed, the book also confirmed what was right before it. So not only did Isa alayhi salam confirm what was right before him, who was right before him, but the book, the gospel, also confirmed what was in the Torah. So they were not conflictory books. They were not books that were meant to take take away from the previous law and say, now this is this, and we're changing everything, the religion and hands down. But rather, it was confirming what was there. من التوراة so yeah, مصدقا لما بين يديه من التوراة وهدى وموعظة للمتقين. And it is a guidance, right? And it's a lesson for those who are muttaqin, the ones who are conscious, the ones who are aware. So when they're reading this, when they are reading the verses of the gospel, right, they should say, oh, subhanallah, this is from the Torah. This is confirming what was already told to us. And hence, by extension, when we read the Quran, it should, in essence, for those people, especially who have already been given the book, when they read the Quran, they should see that this is confirming what was in the Torah and what was confirming, and it's confirming what Musa alayhi salam and Isa alayhi salam both had brought down to the people. وَلْيَحْكُمْ أَهْلُ الْإِنْجِيلِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ. So let the followers, right, the Ahlul Injil, the people of the gospel, the people of Injil, يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, and let them judge between them with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to them, right? And so they can judge according to their own book. وَمَنْ لَنْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. And then the ones who are not going to judge يحكم بما أنزل الله لم يحكم, they did not judge by what was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to them, فأولئك هم الفاسقون. Then those people are indeed going to be the ones who are the rebellious or the lawbreakers. Fasiq literally is the one that he deviates from the theology, right? It's one thing that you know what's right, and you say I'm just like, I don't want to believe in it, right? And then the other aspect of it is you don't know what's right or wrong to begin with, right? And fasiq, they understood it, and yet they want to abandon the theology or the law. وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ. And we are the ones, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now saying, we are the one who sent down the book, al-kitab bil-haqqi, and it's with the final truth, right? And something, just a quick thing to note, previously it was hudan anurun, right? Like guidance and light, right? But both times it was in the it wasn't the proper form. It was in al-huda or an-nur. Like it wasn't the final, because it was just parts and parts of the final the compilation of the revelation. Now here it says bil haqq, it's the truth. It's everything that's needed now. It's a compilation of whatever is needed to make the final law of Islam. So musaddiqan lima bayna yadayhi min al-kitab wa muhaiminan alayhi, and it is a book, right? And this book, it's confirming what came before it as well. So you can see the trajectory Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to create. It's a very, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is almost creating an argument, right? You know, when you go into court and the prosecutor, they're trying to make the argument and they're creating the case. They're like, you know, so this is the first thing that happened. And then in the second thing, it confirms the first thing. And then this is how it happened. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is literally step by step, He's walking you through how each revelation is confirming the previous revelation. So then you have absolutely no argument left that any of these books are outside the other. That Allah, they're all by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're all confirming the previous message, and they are all talking about, you know, that they are the truth. They are guidance. They are light. So min al-kitabi wa muhaiminan alayhi. And muhaimin is one of the names of the Quran in this case, and it's a safeguard, right? It's safeguarding what's there. It's confirmed. It's a final authority. And the idea with muhaymin, you can almost imagine the imagery, is that like a mother bird that puts her wings over her baby birds, right? That's muhaymin. That's what Quran is to the previous revelations. It's the all protecting, the final version of what is needed to be believed in. فَاحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ. Then judge with it, right? Judge between them according with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent out. This is the final revelation. This is what we have to judge by. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا أَهْوَاءَهُمْ عَمَّا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. And don't follow your whims and desires. When you know what the truth is, you go and judge with the truth. Don't ahwa'ahum is like whatever they're thinking. Today it's going to be one thing and tomorrow it's going to be another thing. So don't judge by that. Amma ja'aka min al-haq, when the truth has already come to you. لِكُلِّ جَعَلْنَا مِنْكُمْ شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا. And we have assigned a law. Shir'a from the same words as sharia, right? We have given a very prescribed way, a way to succeed, what minhajan, and a path, right? So shari'a is the idea that what are the laws you're going to have to abide by in order to be a successful community. Minhaj is the idea that how you're going to be those law-abiding citizens. How do we work ourselves? Because you can give like an idealistic value of the society that we're going to be like this, this, and this, and this. But unless you actually give them a means to become and elevate them to that ranks, it's very hard. And people are just going to sit there and look up like, wow, that's going to be a utopian society. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we didn't just give you the ideals. We told you step by step. We created a program for you that if you immerse yourself in, you can become of those individuals. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَكِنْ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِي مَا آتَاكُمْ. Had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, He could have just created you all one nation. It would have just been very easy for Him, just one nation, you just all did the same thing. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you differently so that He may test you in what you put forth, what you do, right? He's going to see how you're going to fare as a different community, as different nations. But the one thing that's common, fastabaqul khairat. What each and every nation and every community is going to have to do is they're going to have to race. Istabaqa is to just outdo each other. You're going to race towards good. Ilallahi marji'ukum jami'a. And to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're all going to be gathered together. Everyone. فَيُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it very clear. He'll explain to you what were the matters and things that you guys used to differ about. وَإِنِ احْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. So again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us. In the previous ayah, He said the same thing in a different way, but just trying to get the message across. That judge between them. Ahkam, like rule between them. Bima anzalallah, with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. So always go back to the Quran and go back to the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as our ruling point, as when we come to contradictions or ways that we are not able to maybe we're not able to come to a conclusion about something, let's go back to the Quran, let's go back to the Sunnah to be able to figure out how to come to a conclusion of these subject matters, right? Rather than وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا أَهْوَاءَهُم, rather than don't follow their whims and desires. أَهْوَاءَهُم, again the same word. وَاحْذَرُوهُم, and take caution. Be careful. أن يفتنوك عن بعد ما أنزل الله عليك, because they're going to they don't tempt you away from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down to you. Meaning they, in this case, meaning the people of the book or the kafirun, the mushrikun. Right? We have to be very careful that we don't just go and in the same trajectory that the nations that have failed went in, and that whatever we're trying to do is going to be not against our whims and desires, but against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said. Because otherwise, they're going to tempt us to also follow in that same trajectory. فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَن يُصِيبَهُم بِبَعْدِ ذُنُوبِ. And then if they turned away, like if they turned away, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what He wants, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ, He intends to أن يصيبهم ببعض ذنوبهم, that He's going to inflict punishment to them because of the sins that they've committed. So the reason that they're going further and further away in their misguidance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, the reason why they're not even showing interest in the religion in the first place is because of their sins. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying because of their sins, He's continuously pushing them further and further away. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ لَفَاسِقُونَ. And indeed, a great deal, many of them, they are going to be amongst those who are fasiq, who are lawbreakers, who are going to be doing things that are just against the code of conduct of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَفَحُكْمَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ يَبْغُونَ. And is it then the judgment of the jahiliyyah, or a state of ignorance that they are seeking? Yabghun, bagha yabghi, that they're seeking the rulings of a individual who is jahil. Meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, if in order for you to be a believer, you want to take your verdicts, your ahkam from the book and the messenger, right? Then why are you still trying to follow along those individuals who are trying to take their own whims and desires as hukum, or as commandments? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is He's asking, like, afa hukmu al-jahiliyyah yabghun, that are they seeking a ignorant verdict? وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ. And who is better than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? حُكْمًا لِقَوْمِ يَعْقِلُونَ. Then as a judge, then for a people who believe. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, who is better? مَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ. When it comes to the matter of giving judgment, passing verdict, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the best verdict. He has the best insights. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَتَّخِذُوا الْيَهُودُ وَالنَّصَارَى أَوْلِيَاءَ. And O people who believe, do not take the Jews and the Christians as close, intimate friends and protectors. Now we have come, this is probably the fourth or fifth time an ayah in this similarity has come, right? And again, we have to understand the context, which was mentioned previously when it first came in Surah Baqarah, that this is a time where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now explaining that people are massively in accepting Islam, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even clarifies, بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءَ بَعْضٍ. Some of them are friends to each other. وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. And the one whoever takes an intimate friend from them, then he is of them surely. So these new Muslims had a very weak foundation in their understanding of the deen, right? They just became Muslim because they saw that their uncle, their friend, their neighbor, they may have became the Muslims. So they're like, all right, we'll also become Muslim. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will clarify this for us in the next couple of ayahs. But just to kind of put the whole story out there, and so when these people would be in a fragile state of iman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, if you're going to the person who you're going to be the closest with, the one who you're going to be your awliya, if that happens to be a Jew or a Christian, then they're not looking out for the best interests of your deen for you, right? They're going to push you towards their beliefs. They're going to try to make you convinced that whatever they're following or their understanding is, that's the way you need to follow and understand your religion. And then it's going to create some confusion and misunderstanding in your head. So, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide a oppressive or a wrongdoing nation. فَتَرَى الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created, like, fatara is just like to out of nowhere, just becomes into existence. In their hearts, في قلوبهم مرض, a disease. يسارعون فيهم يقولون نخشى أن تصيبنا دائرة. And they race towards, like they're running. يسارعوا. And previously it says يسارعوا إلى المغفرة, right? Rush towards forgiveness. But what are these people rushing towards? يقولون نخشى أن تصيبنا دائرة. We apprehend that that something will overtake us, some misfortune. خشية, like something bad will overtake us. They're afraid, and it's just gonna come all around us. دائرة. فعسى الله أن يأتي بالفتح. And it is likely that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring victory over them. أو أمر من عنده, or his command over them. فيصبحوا على ما أصروا في أنفسهم نادمين, and they are going to become regretful with what they used to conceal in their heart. So meaning they understood what the right message was, and because of their ignorance, arrogance, whatever you want to call it, فَطَرَ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then incepted this idea, this disease in their heart. But it wasn't there before, but it was because of the fact that they were not willing to understand and implement the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the end of the day, they're going to regret it. Nadimin, the same word that was used when Qabil killed Habil. Right? وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَهَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ أَقْسَمُوا بِاللَّهِ, and those who believe, they are going to say, أَهَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ أَقْسَمُوا بِاللَّهِ, are these people, the ones who swear by Allah, are they that they were with you? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us there are certain people, when they're going to come to you, O Prophet, they're going to be like, oh, I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm this kind of a believer, I do this and this at home, I read this many pages of Quran. Like, they're just taking oaths after oaths about how good of a Muslim they are, right? And when they're taking so many oaths, it should already be a red flag for us, right? It's like when you walk into a car dealership and the car dealership is like, oh man, if this car, this is the best car you can ever buy. You're going to walk off this lot knowing that you got the best car in all of Pennsylvania. Right? If those are the kind of false promises your car dealership salesman is trying to make to you, you know that he doesn't have anything valuable for sale. He's just trying to left and right make all these empty promises. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capturing those same empty promises that the Yahud and the Nasara, they used to make, and when they tried to come to the Prophet with all these emphatic oaths that they would take. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exposes them. حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ فَأَصْبَحُوا خَاسِرِينَ. Then their deeds, they're gone to waste. They have nothing left of them. And they've become losers. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَنْ يَرْتَدَّ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِهِ. O you who believe, whoever turns away from the deen, right? After having faith, and dini, فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِي اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّونَهُم. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He shall bring up people. Then He will bring, like, يَأْتِي اللَّهُ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring forth the people, بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّونَهُم, that a people that He is going to love. Meaning, if you turn away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He can write you off. He doesn't need you specifically, or I, like me, Bilal Baqai, He doesn't need me to worship Him. If I do not decide to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can dispose of me. We are dispensable at the end of the day. وَيُحِبُّونَهُ, and He's going to put people on this earth who will love Him, and He will love them. Right? Sorry, who He loves, and who will love Him as well. أَذِلَّةٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and they're going to be people who are going to be soft to the believers, who are going to be like, we have a misconstrued version of the word adillah. In Urdu, it has a different meaning. So those Urdu speaking people, they think dhalil is the same in Urdu and Arabic. But no, in Arabic, adilla ala al-mu'minin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using it in the context that you are lowering yourself in front of the believers. You're humbling yourself in front of the believers. So when you as a Muslim, as an individual, talks to another Muslim, you should talk so in a way that you are soft on them, right? وَعِزَّةٍ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, and they're going to be powerful. They're going to have capability over those who are the disbelievers. يُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, and they are going to fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا يَخَافُونَ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ, that they're not going to be afraid of what the passerby has to say, what the critic has to say, right? Whatever work you and I are going to do in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will always find somebody who's going to be critical of our work. It's never going to be good enough for everybody. It's just a fact. There's going to be, you can do your best, level best, and still you will have people complaining that the biryani wasn't good enough, that this wasn't, the event was too long, this happened, that happened, you didn't make accommodations for this or that, and people are just going to complain. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying one of the signs of those people whom He loves and who love him are those people who take criticism, and they're not going to be turned away from the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of the criticism that they may have to face. So at the end of the day, we have to take criticism if we're looking to do work in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's going to happen. You have to have a thick skin for that. And now that doesn't mean you just take the criticism, it comes in one ear and out the other ear. No, it's you take it, you reflect upon it. If there's something that's meaningful and beneficial, you implement that, and then the rest of it you take it as with a grain of salt. But at the same time, adilla ala al-mu'minin. You have to be soft to the believers. And the ones who are probably going to have the harshest criticism of you are going to be other Muslims, right? Especially if you're doing work in a masjid, in an Islamic organization, it's going to be people who are also abiding by that, who are going to usually criticize you. So take it, yes, but at the same time, أَذِلَّ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ, and that is the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? That's from the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ, and He gives it to whomever He wills. وَاللَّهُ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ, and indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all capable. He has the ability to take care of everything, and He is all knowing. Innama waliyukumullah, and the true ally. All you actually need is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Waliyukumullah. Remember, awliya is just a plural of wali. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, indeed, waliyukumullahu wa rasuluh, that's what we need. Being the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and of the messenger and of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and the ones who believe. الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ زَكَاةَ. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is adding on some sifat to those individuals who are believing, that needs to take their wali as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who are those? They're the ones who believe, that they're the ones who establish their prayer. وَيُؤْتُونَ zakat, and they give their zakat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it's good to have iman, right? But but at the same time, the people who you need to be close friends with, the people who you need to be in a gathering with, are the ones who are going to establish their prayers and who are going to give their zakat. وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ, while they are in a state of humbleness, right? Raki'un is literally from, if we literally translate that, it means while they are in a state of ruku'. Right? But what does that mean? They're praying and they're giving zakat while they're in state of ruku? No, raki'un linguistically means because when you're in the state of ruku, that's one of the most weakest position that you can be in. Like, as physically, it's the meaning that you are very easily pushed over. Nothing can it'll take very little to put you to remove you. Right? And meaning, so in that position, you are humbled. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, be amongst them. Make sure the company that you keep are the ones who believe, the ones who establish prayer, the ones who give zakat, and they are humble. And they are humble while they're doing all of that. وَمَن يَتَوَلَّ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولَهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَإِنَّ حِزْبَ اللَّهِ, and those who turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَتَوَلَّ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ, and His messenger, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and the ones who believe, then فَإِنَّ حِزْبَ اللَّهِ, then they are from the faction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are the ones who are going to be in the group that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this is our team. Right? We talked about that in Surah Baqarah as well, of being in the team of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That's the all-star team that we want to be in. Humul ghalibun, and they are going to be triumph over everyone. They are going to be the team that's going to go undefeated. There's nobody that can try to take on that team. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if you want to be on the winning team, this is it. You want to be on it, jump on this team right now. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la tattakhidul ladhina ittakhadhu dinakum huzwa. And all you who believe. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is parting another injunction of advice to us. And He's telling us, all you who believe, la tattakhidul ladhi, do not follow or do not take the following as people, as friends, as the company that you're going to keep. Again, very, like, from the beginning, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us from the past few ayahs, He's told us we should be careful of who we hang out with. If we hang out with the wrong people, we'll be the next one amongst them. And now He's further elaborating who not to hang out with. الَّذِي اتَّخَذُوا دِينَكُمْ هُزُوًا. They are going to take your deen as a mockery, right? They're just going to constantly poke fun about religion. They don't want to believe in any type of organized religion. They think it's all just shambles. وَلَعِبًا مِنَ And they take it as play. They just see it as something that they can mock and make fun out of. مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ, from the ones who were given the book. مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَالْكُفَّارِ أَوْلِيَاءَ, and who are given the book before you, nor of those who are the disbelievers, and the friends of those, right? Meaning, don't be amongst the company of those people who take religion as a light matter, that all they use it for is just to joke around with. Wattaqullah, have consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in kuntum mu'minin, if you're actually believers, right? And so if you have a shred of iman, if you really want to be amongst those who say that we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be careful with who you hang out with. Because if your college friends, your close circle of friends are going to be those who are just constantly bashing on religion, who are constantly just saying that, imposing atheistic values on each other and asking really stupid questions, then at some point of day or some random night, you're going to be so lost in thoughts that it's just going to come over you. And you have no idea what overtook you, but it was because you constantly hung out with these people. You listened and you let their thoughts infiltrate your mind. وَإِذَا نَادَيْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ, and and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now describes, He gives us a case study of what these people will do. وَإِذَا نَادَيْتُمُ الصَّلَاةِ, and نَادَيْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ, and when you are called to prayer, right? When the adhan is being made, when the prayer time is being made, اتَّخَذُوهَا هُزُوًا وَلَعِبًا, and they take that as a mockery. Like, dude, what are you doing? You could like, you're gonna go all religious on us and like go out and pray right now? Just come out and hang out with us. We're about to have dinner, right? They're gonna make you so uncomfortable that you would feel awkward trying to implement the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you are with them. And so we don't have to think far and wide about people who probably influence us in this manner in our own lives. And so we think about it, how often do we hang out and associate with that type of people? Are those the people that we are always like, oh man, I want to hang out, I can't wait to be with them, I can't wait to hang out with them? ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further clarifies that these are people, they don't reason, they don't think about what they're saying. لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Right? They don't use their intellectual capabilities to understand the implications of what they're saying are going to be. قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ, and say to the people of the Prophet being asked to say to the people of the book, هَلْ تَنْقِمُونَ مِنَّا إِلَّا أَنْ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ. Do you resent us? Do you hate us for only the reason that we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلُ, and what was sent to us and what was sent from before us. وَأَنَّ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَأَنَّ أَكْثَرُكُمْ فَاسِقُونَ, and while most of you are disobedient. Like, why do you hate us when we believe in this book and we believe in what was sent to you in the original form? What was sent to you, we believed in that, and they even saw that whatever was mentioned in the Quran, it did not contradict what their beliefs were about the Torah, unless it was something that they had changed, and they recognized that these are the things that were probably what has changed in our religion, and yet they despise you for that fact. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling them out again, and He's saying, why do you hate us when we're doing all the same things that you were actually told to do? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّ أَكْثَرُكُمْ فَاسِقُونَ, rather, most of you are actually lawbreakers. You're disobedient. You know what the right thing is, but you're just constantly looking for a way out. قُلْ هَلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِشَرٍّ مِّن ذَلِكَ, and say, then Allah again tells the Prophet to say to them, should I inform you of that which is worse, بِشَرٍّ مِّن ذَلِكَ, then worse than that, مَثُوبَةً عِنْدَ اللَّهِ, in terms of compensation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So these people are just constantly degrading the religion. They're constantly despising anyone associated with the religion. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, then should I tell you not of somebody? Like, what's going to be what will be worse than even those people? Meaning, you and I, we need to listen up. We think that we can't handle peer pressure right now. We can't handle being the only Muslim in a crowd, that when we're told the time for prayer comes and it's time to pray, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, let me tell you what's worse than that. If you don't hold up your end of the bargain, if you don't hold up what you were sent to do, man la'anahu Allah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the one who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cursed, wa ghadiba alayhi, and his wrath is upon him, wa ja'ala minhum al-qiradata, and we have made them qiradata, like apes, wal khanadira, and swines, like pigs. We have made them apes and pigs, wa abdat taghut, and we have made them a constant worshipper of false deities. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, we did all this to people. He did all this to people for those who were constantly rejecting. أُولَٰئِكَ شَرٌّ مَكَانًا وَأَضَلُّ عَنْ سَوَاءِ السَّبِيلِ, and those people, they are in the worst of the worst situation. And they are far, far astray from ever finding the right path. وَإِذَا جَاءُكُمْ قَالُوا آمَنَّا, and then when these people, when they come to you, right, these people of the book, when they come to you, قَالُوا آمَنَّا, they say we believe. And again, in Surah Al-Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted this for us, right? The group of rabbis, they told their congregation, go to Muhammad's company, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and say that you believe. And then at the end of the day, say, no, this is all hocus pocus, this is not true. We found this flaw in the religion, and we found that flaw in the religion, and so none of this can be true. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captured that ploy that they made in Surah Al-Imran. And again, now He's telling them, they come to you and they say we believe. وَقَدْ دَخَلُوا بِالْكُفْرِ, but when they came to you, they weren't ever believers. They actually had entered into disbelief. وَهُمْ قَدْ خَرَجُوا بِهِ, and when they left in a state of disbelief as well. These people were thinking that they were tricking you by saying amanna, and then coming back and saying that no, we disbelieve in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rather, they had disbelief when they came and disbelief when they left. Wallahu a'lamu bima kanu yaktumun, and indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows fully well of what they hide. وَتَرَى كَثِيرًا مِّنْهُمْ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْإِثْمِ, and you see them racing towards sin. Right? You're going to see many of them, they're just constantly running and trying to outdo each other when it comes to doing sins against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْعُدْوَانِ, and aggression. وَأَكْلِهِمُ السُّحْتِ, and they are going to eat false, that which is unlawful. Right? It's the same concept. Either the money was unlawful or the actual food was unlawful. لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, and what an evil thing that they're doing. That's such an evil thing that they're spending. They're trying to outdo each other in such an evil thing. لَوْلَا يَنْهَاهُمُ الرَّبَّانِيُّونَ وَالْأَحْبَارُ عَنْ قَوْلِهِمُ الْإِثْمِ, and why do the people, and this is such a scary ayah, and why do the people prevent them? Yanha. And who's going to prevent them? Ar-Rabbaniyun, the ones who are the godly people. Why don't they prevent those people from doing such crazy acts? Wal ahbar, the scholar. Remember ahbar, the ink, the one who is just constantly writing, right? Who were the faqih of the religion? How come their scholars didn't stop them? They knew this is wrong, right? And qawlihim al-athm, from their saying of evil, wa aklihim al-suhut, from the eating of that which is unpermissible, labi'tha ma kanu yasna'un, and indeed there's an evil doing and what they have manufactured. It's such an evil thing that they've manufactured. And look, previously, labi'tha ma kanu ya'malun, of what they used to do, right? And now ma kanu yasma'un, of what they have meaning it was a group effort. Right? The scholars, the Rabbaniyun, the people, the masses, they were all in on this. They knew fully well going into this that if they disregard their religion in such a blatant way, it's going to take all of our coordinated effort so that we can all live without a guilty conscience. It is going to take everyone to do their part so that we can make this pseudo-religion successful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you guys it was a plot that you guys had to put together. It took a lot of effort to figure this out. And so if you're going to do all of that, right, if you're going to put all of it together, then it's such a terrible plot. It's going to have such an evil implication. So with that, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, protect our community from falling into that. We've seen, and especially in Muslim countries, where a lot of which is clear evil, clear su is being allowed to happen in the name of modernity or liberalism. That we need to proceed with this, or we need to proceed with that. And on this 30th night of Ramadan, the one of the last moments, in less than 24 hours, Ramadan will be over. So I urge all of us to make dua that, oh Allah, whatever we have learned, whatever little may have actually stuck with us in our head from what we were reading and listening, or sharing with each other from the verses of the Quran, that, oh Allah, let us abide by that. Don't hold us accountable for that which we weren't able to, that we may have forgotten or we may have made a mistake. Right? رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا إِن نَّسِينَا أَوْ أَخْطَأْنَا. The dua at the end of Surah Baqarah. So I ask all of you guys on this last night to please make dua for myself, for my family. Alhamdulillah, it was a great journey that we had together for during the month of Ramadan, and I hope we all benefited from it. And I know for sure that I did personally, where it forced me to focus on learning a lot of the vocabulary, a lot of the things that I was trying to share with you. I was also reading up and preparing for myself as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our a'mal and deeds during the month of Ramadan. And so inshallah, Eid will be on Sunday. The next class for Quran will be on next Friday, as it was just posted at 9 p.m. We hope that everyone returns and joins us again for a continuation, so that slowly but surely we can continue and learn the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are almost done six juz of the Quran, meaning a fifth of the Quran. Right, in 1 month we covered a fifth of the Quran with some light meanings and tafseer. So that's amazing. If we stick consistently, inshallah, I have great hopes that we can cover the whole Quran as a community one day, inshallah. Just a few quick announcements. So first of all, next class will be next Friday. Eid will be on Sunday. We have sent out emails about that no formal Eid prayer will be happening. However, on Sunday at 11 o'clock, we will have an Eid Khatira at 11 o'clock, inshallah. And on Sunday at noon, we have a parade, organized at the Khair Community Center site. That's 1079 Egypt Road, Phoenixville, PA. Please come, bring your kids. There's going to be some goodies that will be distributed, but make sure you come well protected. Please have your masks and gloves as well. You will not be able to leave your car, but you can still benefit and join us. We'll have nasheeds going on, takbirat happening, and also a lot of good goodies to be distributed. We'll also be having a competition for who has the best decked out car for Eid. So decorate your car with your kids to still show the spirit of Eid, so that we can all join in the festivities in whatever ways that are made possible during a pandemic. So please take caution. And if you do join us, please listen to the volunteers. We are all trying to do our best to make sure that we stay within the boundaries of the CDC regulations. So inshallah, we hope to see everybody on Sunday, first at 11 o'clock for the Khatira, and then at noon at the Khair property site for the Eid parade, inshallah, at the site. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.